Namaste. Welcome to
Namaste.
another edition of Navimash podcast. So we are back with Academic Man after a long hiatus. So today, as you can see in the thumbnail, we're going to talk about the Machiavellian way of doing politics and how BJP can learn from Machiavellian politics and framework. So I'll not take much time. Academic Man, how are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing well. Uh, so,
So let's. So I'll hand it over to you to just give an overview of our talk today, and then we can go ahead with our question and answers.
absolutely. So let's start with some of what is there in the the title, the thumbnail. So the man on the thumbnail is Niccolo Machiavelli. He was a Italian political thinker in the 16th century and all. So he was very famous for writing some books. Okay, he was a diplomat and all that. He One of his most famous books is The Prince. You all can read it. It's very interesting. Like he has a very faint view of humanity. You can see, like, he does not trust people at all, and he's like, मतलब राजा को power के लिए जो करना पड़ेगा. He's like that. Like, so a lot of things he says in that book. I haven't read that book for a decade almost. I read that book, 1 decade ago almost. But one thing that his book, produced, he was an Italian, so his book produced many other kind of ideas in politics and political science. One great political scientist, come economist, was Wilfredo Pareto. Wilfredo Pareto was writing in the 20th century. Okay, so one of his most famous theories was that, and he was also an engineer. So his one of his most famous theories was that of the foxes and lions, who were the ruling elites. So using Machiavelli's theoretical stance, he deduced that there were two types of ruling elites in any society. One is fox and one is lion. So what is a fox and what is a lion? A lion is someone who is holding on to power, like somebody who is an old elite. A fox is a new rising elite with new ideas, new kind of new looks, new kind of ideas, and a different kind of, he's using a different kind of logic to appeal to people. जैसे सोच लो कि what BJP was in 2014, right? Modi was a fox, Congress was the lion. Okay. Now, anyone who reads Pareto's theory just on the surface level will think that, okay, so basically the fox, you have to be a fox, you have to reinvent yourself constantly, and you have to kind of create the ideological basis for your politics and play very clever. You have to make alliances, like just when BJP made the alliance with PDP and stuff like that. You have to play it very clever. You have to reinvent the wheels of politics, essentially. So from that standpoint, being a fox seems very attractive. But there was a a few more social scientists who actually pointed out that, see, if you look at Machiavelli and Pareto's theories, you will see that they don't necessarily always talk about the goodness of a fox. Okay. Matlab, they are saying that lions also have some good characteristics. Lions are brave, lions use force, lions are uncompromising about their territories, so that kind of thing. Basically, they are saying that sometimes it's important to use brute force also, which is not what they will advocate, obviously. They will not say that, the person using brute force is good. But there is a time to be a fox and there is a time to be a lion. when the Modi Amit Shah brigade and the Sangh brigade, everyone was trying to come to power in 2014. BJP was trying to come to power in 2014. Then being a fox was more important. Being clever, being more attuned to what the public wanted, knew, and to kind of distance yourself from Congress as much as possible. That was the more important part. But right now, I believe that people are no longer looking for masterstroke. People are looking for stability, especially after the Pahalgaon and Operation Sindoor and all these things. People are looking for an elite who is very strong in their appearance, who is very dominant, who will dominate over your opponents in the home. That kind of a lion kind of a personality people are looking for. And that's why I think there must be a reinvention of the kind of politics that BJP is doing. Like you can't you can't pretend to always be the new elite who is coming to power just now. You have no excuses left. You have 10 years in behind you. You have a third term of power with you. You have now what name recognition. You have symbolic recognition. All that stuff. Okay, you have a sizable chunk of the population with you right now. Right now is the time to assert yourself more dominantly. And that's what I believe that the BJP must do. It must turn into a lion now. Fox खेलना बहुत हो गया, अभी lion बनो. Roar करो, roar. So, yeah.
Okay, understood. So I do have a visual document for the
Yeah.
audience so that they can understand a bit more of the narration by looking at this documentation. So we'll keep that thing running and
Yeah.
we'll do.
Yeah.
So now,
Thanks for this.
yeah, I understand the perspective, the expectation.
Mm.
So one of the criticisms or drawback of being too successful in anything is that people expect a lot more
More.
than you can deliver, a lot more
True.
what you can deliver. So 2014 was a kind of a how would I say earth-shaking political event in 2014 which happened, right?
Absolutely.
Where the so-called pan-chewing Dehati party gained the majority,
Yes.
okay, by using very
Yes.
clever means, as you had mentioned. Okay.
Yes.
Now,
Absolutely.
every political analyst or politically aware person would know that for last 10 years at least, BJP has suffered from the same syndrome that you created a kind of a utopian kind of thing where you will take care of the Hindus and Hindutva as a primary platform, and you delivered some of it, and a lot of things
Yes.
remains to be done, and you focused on the economics and other part, which is also very important. Okay.
Yeah.
And BJP right now is not able to maintain the balance between Hindutva and its core vote bank and the overall long-term vision of 2047. Okay.
True.
So, in my opinion, that is a kind of a balancing act which they are struggling to maintain. And yes, we have to give that option to BJP that 240, as you can see in the screen, 240 was a
Yes.
kind of a. I'll give one example actually. Give me 2 minutes. See,
Yeah.
everybody. I don't know how many people can follow Singapore politics. In Singapore, the PAP, People's Action Party, is in power since independence. Okay.
Yes.
So now Singapore is technically not a democracy, but let's assume that it's a democracy, and one party is ruling it. Now, how
Yes.
one party is ruling it, and how if the electorate has decided that PAP is the only option for us because they will give what we want: healthcare, education, jobs, everything, retirement. Now, if the electorate is unhappy with PAP, its policies, how they are going to react, how they are going to send a message to the PAP that we need more, you need to change your policies. Now, in democracy,
Yes.
correct, you can only do it from your vote. So there has been a kind of a consensus that if the PAP gets 60% votes, then it interprets, the ruling government interprets that, okay, we are not doing enough and people want more. Now if they get
Yes.
75% to 80% votes, they say, okay, we are doing right. So that
Yes.
is called a kind of a collective wisdom, which we call is
Yes.
the wisdom of the masses, okay, in general.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
same way, people are not, there are a lot of other factors also involved here. So 240 was kind of a like Singapore like election, where the
Sarkar.
electorate says, you are not following what you told us on Hindutva and other policies. We are happy
Yeah.
with the toilets, we are happy with the bridges and railways and other things, but
Hmm.
you have regressed on your Hindutva core vote bank. This is what
Yeah.
we will do. This is what we will do right now. But if you do not course correct, you will be at 140. Over to you.
Yes. Yes. I personally think that, the very interesting thing is when people say this. Now, personally, your and my stakes are different compared to, let's say, somebody who votes for Piyaz Kadam, Alu Kadam, right? You and I don't think like that while voting, and many of us don't. In like many of our audience also don't. But again, we have a very small audience, and we are a very small number of people. I actually believe that even people like us do vote for the BJP, no matter what, because we don't have any option. We don't have, the other parties are totally against any kind of Hindu rights whatsoever. At least BJP isn't. But having said that, I think that is where the BJP gets one thing wrong. BJP thinks that BJP any ruling elite, uh, anytime when it's ruling for a while, it gets it wrong. That these guys will vote for us no matter what, right? Adi, Tufan, Jobio, these people will vote for us because there is no option. They forget that they need more people like us. That is the problem. To retain power, you actually need people who are thinking like us more. The Alu Piyaz wale, they will vote one day for you, other day they will vote for Congress, the next day they will vote for Samajwadi, Namajwadi, whoever. But it is the ideological voter whom you need to increase in society, who will be your megaphone, microphone, who will fight for you no matter what, who will do what. And when you don't do enough on the ideological front, you risk, you risk giving the population, a large section of the population, over to these alu piyaz wala people. Okay, which is the biggest problem with any ideological outfit. So a Congress does not need to worry about ideology. Congress is basically right-wing Islam. If you look at the ideology, Congress, these parties, right, the non-BJP parties. BJP is, I guess, center left and and socially sometimes Hindu, sometimes secular kind of party. But Congress and all, they don't have any ideological commitment towards the country. What they have is basically alu piyaz wala model. Matlab, your alu piyaz is high, your petrol is high, so we'll reduce it. That's all they have. Basically, they have subsidy politics. And obviously, with a country like Neerajan keeps saying that sub-Saharan Africa GDP rate country, that's alu piyaz politics will work. And that's the problem. That's why BJP thinks that if BJP thinks that it can keep wrestling power on the basis of alu piyaz, then it won't work, because there will always be somebody who will sell alu le lo bolke kam paisa mein alu bechenge. Okay? It won't work. And that's where I'm saying that BJP needs to be more lionizing in its approach. Why I'm saying lionizing? Because this is a big problem with any ideological and nationalist outfit. When you try to be a internationalist or globalist, you will fail. That is a big problem. Matlab, if you see any right-winger movement, any nationalist movement, when they stay in the lane, when they stay within the country, I'm not saying don't go outside the country, but I'm saying that your main focus should be getting the people of your country to support you, no matter what. Okay. So let's say, for example, Trump is losing his base, large amount of his base, right now because he is involved in the Israel-Palestine conflict. He is involved in the Russia conflict. He is involved in India ka conflict. Okay, nobody told him. No, the serious mega guys who are there, who voted for him this time, who are our counterparts, let's say in America, they did not tell him to get involved in Israel, Palestine, this, that, Iran, yeah, wo. They did not tell him. They said, "Bhai, jitna bhi war hoga, you don't give a damn. You will stay in your country. You will vote for you will work for the people of this country." We precisely voted for that. Ki our army does not need to go fight wars in the Middle East anymore. And ट्रम्प को विश्व गुरु बनना था, उनको नोबेल प्राइज लेना है. So he is doing some stuff, or maybe there are some US deep state stuff, I don't even know. But my point is this, that the Trump of 2016 is not the Trump of 2024. His base is angry at him now. And if you remember, the Trump of 2016 was a guy who said, "Ki I won't give aid to Pakistan," which is why even people in India supported him. They were like, they were different because they did not want to, the movement that Trump started actually, ki America first, he actually stood on that ground. But when we see that Modi ji is also trying something similar, like he is sending Jaishankar to different things. He is kind of, he's trying to play a more foreign crowd. I'm happy that he does that, and I will support him no matter what in that. But he must understand that if he tries to play that more than coming to domestic politics, then that will be a problem. Like, domestic politics cannot be done at the cost of international politics. Okay. My point is that if you have two masters, you cannot please two masters if you are a nationalist. You have one master, and that is the country, the people of this country. Foreigners won't vote for you. You being a liberal, you being a Vishwaguru in that sense, liberal Vishwaguru, nobody cares. Especially when you see that before Operation Sindoor, America seemed to be with us, and then right after Operation Sindoor, they totally changed the tune. So seriously, the problem is that with countries, when the countries like US are in the charge of power, they don't give a damn about our interests, obviously. So if you are towing their line, then you will get screwed sometime. But a person like, let's say, Xi Jinping does not need to worry about that. Xi Jinping does not give a damn, I think, that much about what American press thinks about it. American media will think about, our media, Indian media thinks about it. He knows ki, bhai, no matter what, if I keep my country the way it is, if I rule over the people of my country, that's all I need. Right? So a leftist can be a globalist. When I say leftist can be a globalist, I'm talking about people like somebody like Manmohan Singh, somebody like Obama, okay, somebody like even Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi को स्टार बनना है, but उसको स्टार बनना है न्यूयॉर्क में. He doesn't need to be a star in Maharashtra. He does not need to be a star in, let's say, a village of West Bengal. He doesn't care. For him, the international optics has always been more important because he's a globalist. It's always been the case. Same as Communist Party. The Communist Party has always been globalist. The Communist Party had done more optics to get Derrida in Kolkata, the great, the great postmodernist, post-structuralist Jacques Derrida from France, and all. They got him into Kolkata Book Fair. Okay, but Jacques Derrida को अगर पता होता कि a few years ago they did Moritz Jappi, he wouldn't have come, I guess. But that's what international optics is all about. But the left does it. Why? Because the left does not care about this country. The left's base is not here. The left knows कि हम foreign में सब manage कर लेंगे, हमारा बाप है foreign में, वो हमको देख लेगा, हाँ, and we will try our best to keep this country poor and the people of it, are oppressed and their lives will be hell. But Narendra Modi cannot afford that. Narendra Modi is, देखो, as far as I understood of Narendra Modi, he is a leader who does believe in empowering people. मतलब, not just him, it is the ideology of the Indic wing to empower the people of India. Okay. So if you are empowering the people of India, then the problem comes ki you can't, like I said, you can't serve two masters. You can't also be a liberal in front of the world ki ha bahut acha hai. This is, we are the most liberal country in South Asia. And then you can't say that, okay, but dekho hamare log bhi bahut अच्छे hai. We don't care about all this communal politics and all. We are a very nice place. We are a very nice country. Everyone has good feelings. Everyone loves the minorities, so-called, except in Bangladesh, Pakistan. So the point is that if that is the image they want to cultivate, then they will fail every time, because the left, the global left, the globalists, the people in power, they will never want an India where people are happy and prosperous. And that is why I'm saying that become a lion. A lion is somebody who protects his territory. If somebody else, even another lion comes, he will kill that lion. If that lion has a baby, then he will kill that lion's baby also, if it's a male child. Okay. Why? Because lions are aggressive. Lions don't care about good feelings and cleverness and stuff. Okay. Lions will do whatever it takes to survive in that area, which is a wilderness, which is a forest where nobody cares about you. Then you have to care only about yourself. And that is where I think the BJP must, the BJP and Modi ji, they must adopt this nation first thing fully. When they say nation first, they have to do nation first. That is what I'm trying to say.
Understood. So now let's continue the conversation. So
Yeah.
one specific thing which actually why we're having this podcast is that for last maybe 10 years approximately, it can be here and there, so we have seen BJP as a party in particular position itself as a democratic power, okay, by showing that, okay, my people are getting attacked, we are peaceful ones, we follow democratic principles, and the opposition is doing the other thing. It is, so opposition is playing the lion's role and BJP is playing
Yes.
the sheep's role. So that's what this is all about. So, and from your perspective, this is not going to like work out when you are already in power 10 years plus.
Yes.
Now the time has come, so BJP has to take its decision that, okay, I have got enough benefit out of playing the sheep, being an anti status quo power. Now time has come to actually play the lion's game, play the opposition's game. And one of the most important symptoms of this is BJP does not drive the narrative, opposition
Yes.
drives the narrative, opposition creates the narrative.
Absolutely.
If we go back to
Yes.
2014, people, you can do the research, people listen to this. If you go back to 2014, BJP, who
Yes.
was driving the narrative and also maintain the narrative by creating a narrative for themselves, and Congress was in
Yeah.
the back foot. Now
Yeah.
the tables have turned again. So now please help us that how BJP can play the role of a lion by utilizing Machiavellian frameworks.
Yeah. I'm very happy that you listed these characteristics. Abhi dekho, let's look at the fox. The fox is combinazioni. I'm not good in, I'm not Rahul Gandhi, so I'm not good in Italian. So I will I'll tell you what it is. Pareto actually lists two kinds of ideas. Pareto says that there are two kinds of residues. What does he mean by residue? It's kind of emotion. Okay. So by emotion मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि emotion मतलब everyone's crying and laughing and whatever. Emotion means that there is an undercurrent in society of power. Okay. So he says that first is when the fox thing is important, then what happens is there is an undercurrent of an instinct for combinations. Okay. What does that mean? Matlab, he says that anytime that people want new stuff, new things, okay, तो नया चीज चाहेंगे तो then you have to give, the elites have to give the new ideas and new kind of science and technology and this and that. अभी जैसे AI का जमाना है, that kind of thing. But think about it this way. That always people don't want new things. Like if you change every 5 months, people won't like you. Okay. Then what you need is an persistence of aggregates. That's what he calls Pareto. By persistent of aggregates, it means that there is a persistence of what is working for you, but you need to do it more. Okay. So here you are listing the Fox characteristics, that is deceit, cunning, manipulation, decentralization, skepticism of force, coalition building, adaptive strategies. मतलब any जो बीजेपी था 2014 से पहले. Now what we need is lion meaning force, unity, homogeneity, centralized hierarchy, comfortable with force, established faith, conservative authority. Look at the values on the right that you've listed. Unity and homogeneity. Now you can't have all these different states wanting different things. Everyone's saying that India is a union of states. Okay, all that stuff. You can't have that. You need a more centralized kind of authority where you are in charge of your borders, you're in charge of national security completely. You can, of course, something like Pahalgam might happen occasionally. We can't always expect that central government will sit everywhere, every house, and guard it all the time. But it is true that if you're keeping tabs on many of the local law enforcement and all that stuff, all these mechanisms, then the possibility of things like Pahalgam also reduces a lot. So similarly, you are comfortable with force. What Amit Shah did right after Pahalgam, he did the Naxal thing. He removed them a lot. Okay, so that needs to happen even in academia and other places. And you need a conservative authority. So these are the basic value systems that I think people are in India need right now. India does not need more gimmicks and tactics at this point. India needs the central government to lock in on what makes it strong and keep doing that. Wherein you force your opponents also to either become nationalist, or you keep brutally exposing them and putting them in whatever, because many of them are also engaged in criminal activities. You also do that, and this is not even a controversial thing to say. This is what BJP leaders always say, that there are thieves and there are scammers in every other state, right? So if you have to now do if you try to think that, okay, I will have a democratic facade, I will look good in front of the world by keeping a very good opposition, very very powerful opposition, where Mohua Moitro can lecture you on democracy in the Lok Sabha while her own state is burning, right? Then if you keep these people in the helm of power without any accountability, I'm not saying that don't, I'm not going to advocate the use of force here, but I'm going to say obviously that if somebody is countering your basic image in the Lok Sabha and becoming a superstar, then keep hammering the image of her own state and her own constituency in the media all the time, 24/7. It must be a war of attrition. It must be a war that we keep playing. It can't be a seasonal thing. West Bengal में पंचायत इलेक्शन आएगा तब 100 लोग मरेंगे तब हम रोएंगे. It can't be that. West Bengal is a hellhole that needs to be exposed all the time. There are at least, I think at this point, 200-300 professors sitting in central universities who are writing against the country every day on social media, on their academic papers. Do find a system to eradicate them from the jobs, not from life, from the jobs. Hold them accountable. Ask them that you are getting paid by the taxpayer. What are you doing for the taxpayer? ये सब करना पड़ेगा. If you don't do it, simply if you want to act democratic, then it won't work anymore. That's the feeling that we have, I think, and I think we all shared this. That if you can be nice and stuff, but you never get. Ultimately, the real issue is that you can be a nice guy, but Genghis Khan is not remembered for being a nice guy. Genghis Khan is remembered for taking over most of the world, okay? And I'm pretty sure he didn't do it with democracy. Uh, and that's the whole point. He first, and more importantly, if you look at what Stalin and the USSR, they held on to power for very long. How did they do it? देश के अंदर जितने गद्दार थे सबको मार दिया. Stalin did purges. They put people in gulags. They basically, I will advocate the CPM's line. Ki be like the USSR. If you have to survive, be like USSR. Don't be USSR economically, that will suck. But be like USSR socially. I'm totally advocating what CPIM would. If you ask any old CPIM leader, they will say be like USSR was the best country in the world. So be like USSR. Be like your friend Gigi. And that is the whole point, that you can't afford to be democratic in that, you can't afford to be fully democratic. Democracy votes have, but also the central government, which has 30 crore almost voters, if I'm not wrong, 30 crore voters of this country are voting for BJP. If these 30 crore people also vote for you for safe national security and all kinds of these things, that they're sick and tired of the left, so they are voting for you consistently. Their number is increasing every year, but you must meet what they want. You must give them some things that they want. If you keep making them want more and more, their numbers will decrease. It's as simple as that.
Understood. So now we'll just zoom it one by one. So now we're going to analyze it. We have set the premise in terms of what BJP needs to do, where they are making mistakes, and which frameworks can work. Now let's go back to post 2024 BJP. Do you
Yeah.
see any change in post 2024 BJP in terms of its activities, actions, and its overall functioning at the central leadership as well as the state leadership?
I agree with you. There is a important change. There are some changes. For example, I see a spate of new media, even in Bengali and Hindi and English, which have come up in the social media space. I think the takeover of NDTV is almost complete with different nationalist journalists. I can see that the textbooks have changed finally, and they are calling the Mughal period for what it was finally after 10 years. They are just sending Meenakshi ji to Rajya Sabha. So there are some visible changes, we must admit. And this is good. Like, this is finally they are addressing some like ideological issues that the funny thing is, I've always meant this. The difference between Congresses and BJPs, like Hindu nationalists and so-called, even if I assume like somebody like Shashi Tharoor, right, who is overall nationalist, a Congressy nationalist and a Hindu nationalist has only one difference. Hindu nationalist says we have been enslaved for 1,000 years, and Congressies say we were enslaved for only 200 years. There is that small difference, but very big difference actually. And finally, and there are precedents. Like if you look at the historians like Jadunath Sarkar ji, this one, R.C. Majumdar, and all of them agreed that the Mughal period was one of the worst times. Mughal and the Sultanate periods, they were the worst times. And finally, if they have the guts to say, okay, that there was a dark period at this time, then we have to give them some points, some brownie points for this. And I think it's good. I think also that at the state levels there are some changes. For example, recently BJP appointed Sri Shamik Bhattacharya in Bengal, and I think that Shamik Bhattacharya is a very interesting guy in that he actually just started off, and he has bombasted the CPIM and Congress heavily. How? He started off by showing in the ABP Anand interview that actually, Jyoti Babu was one of us. So how like not exactly one of us, but kind of like us. Why? Because he voted for partition. Okay, along with the way Shyama Prasad Mukherjee wanted, like being partition of Bengal to create the Hindu homeland. So immediately a lot of CPIM people start saying, no, Jyoti Babu never voted for partition. Jyoti Babu never wanted Bengal to be divided. Actually, the source of that is Jotodur Mone Pore, which is Jyoti Babu's official autobiography. Jotodur Mone Pore. In that, Jyoti Babu had written that, no, I did not, we did not. Him and the other comrade, Ratanlal Brahman, who were representing CPI at that time, both of them did not vote apparently for partition. Now what happened is when after Shamik Bhattacharya said it, Suman Chatterjee, who is an old journalist of Anand Bazar, he has a channel called Bangla Sphere. He suddenly took out, he first opposed Shamik, and then he took out the old Vidhan Sabha records. There it is clearly written that Jyoti Basu voted for partition of Bengal along religious lines. So then what happened is now the CPIM is in a complete tizzy. The CPIM has lost its minds. Basically because they can't now, they have to now admit in public that Jyoti Babu and their party, the CPI, which was originally there, they voted originally for the partition of Bengal in 1947 along religious lines. So Shamik Bhattacharya has caused an earthquake in the ideological politics of West Bengal. Okay. And I think this is a great step. That is why him being the, him being the BJP state president right now is a very good step also. There's another reason I believe. They can make anyone the state president, to be honest. But I've always felt that Shubhendu should not be, because if Shubhendu is the face, he should not be the state president. The state president must be someone who is not a mass leader per se, but also knows the organization in and out, and also has a connection with the Sangh. Can I leave you for a second? Just
Yeah. Go ahead. No problem. We will take some comments as well. Let's take comments from Abhay, our loyal audience. So BJP and RSS dismantled other ground level Hindu organizations after coming to power. Mm, partly true, partly maybe a kind of, let's say, confusion, because generally the Hindu organizations are independent and they run their own affairs. Yes, there was some concentrated effort from the BJP to lend support to them. But it is not true that Bajrang Dal, VHP, or any other Hindu organization are directly under the control of BJP. Yes, there is a symbiotic relationship between both of them, which sometimes falters, sometimes they will work together again. Okay, and that is something which is a kind of problem for us, because as also HV Didi mentioned this in many of his podcasts, that we Hindus need to be politically smart. We are too much ideological in terms of our approach, and we want 100% somebody to agree with us or with them to actually work. It doesn't really matter. You just look at the voting pattern of the Muslim vote bank in India. The Muslims of Kerala vote Congress and CPM. Okay. The Muslims of Bihar and UP vote for RJD and SP. So they are a very smart voting bloc, which Hindus have not become, and we have to become. And that has to translate it to Hindu organization. You don't have to agree 100% with everyone, whether it's an organization or whether it's a individual, to actually go and work with them. Okay. Have a first principles approach that, okay, this is something which is going to ultimately do good for the nation, good for the community, and do it. So that has to be there. In my opinion, you can differ from it. That's absolutely fine. But for me, it is important that Hindus become smart voters and also leave little bit of ideology behind them and be pragmatic in nature. Okay, rather than say I will not work with you if you are not agreeing with me 100%. So that's one aspect of it. Okay, that's interesting. I do not know, so I need to check on this. But you might be right. So I need to check more on this. I agree with Abhay. Yeah, I agree with Abhay that we have to be smart critics. Okay, so we have become too emotional. We have become too emotional, too reactive in nature. That reactivity and emotions vote. You cannot vote with your emotions. Emotions is part of your intellect, but when you are voting, when you are doing voting, when you need to elect somebody for 5 years, that is something which is very important. Give me a sec. Sorry, somebody was on the door. So we have to be not reactive enough, but we need to make sure that when we are going to vote for a party, think for next 5 years, think for next 15 years, and then do the tactical voting. Okay. And the community building has to be there, which is still going on. So we Hindus need to build a community, and that is only going to help the cause. Okay. Voting and policy criticism has to be kind of kept. No, you cannot. I'll give an example. Okay. The current state of affairs, where the government runs everything from your electricity, from your water, to your roads, to your hospitals, to your judiciary. Now, right now, you cannot change that thing. Right now, not even in 10 years, you cannot make those changes in 10 years. Okay, from your perspective. So you have to vote thinking in mind that who is going to deliver all these things at the central level, at the state level, at the local level. So your voting is to be more holistic in nature, considering everything. If you are going to vote for a party or a candidate just because he did not fix your road or water or some other issue, and I'm not going to vote for him, then you might be making a choice because your that vote is going to make sure that who is going to be at the center, who is going to be at the state, and that is going to impact whether you get a good school, good education, good healthcare, and good and a better policy system. So you have to bunch it, bring it together, and then vote. That's how it is actually now. See, you have to be pragmatic in nature. I want all judiciary, healthcare, education to be more private, more open, so that people can do what they want, do their innovation. Right now, it is not possible. If that is not possible, then I have to make a pragmatic choice, and that choice is which is there. So take an example of Assam and Odisha. Assam and Orissa have voted in a way where they have got enough projects, enough money from central government to build their own state economy, but they have still maintained their autonomy. So it was like a tactical voting that happened, and that has to continue. That has to even increase so that you can enjoy both the perks of a state government and also perks of a central government. We'll take some other questions which was there. Okay, academic man is back. Welcome, sir.
Yes, apologies for the delay. My point is that I agree with you. We have to uh, make pragmatic choices and can't be emotional in our voting. Voting के time पे, of course, we have to be pragmatic. But I think that I'm also happy with some of the criticisms that are coming out sometimes. You know why? Because um, in that sense, we can try and point out sometimes. Obviously, देखो, I think most of us are grown-ups. Not all, but many of us are grown-ups who know that there are limits to reforms. There are limits to what the BJP can achieve with its power. But at the same time, sometimes if there is a even 1% section of the society which is on your side ideologically, and it's saying that you have to do more, then that section can help. I'm not saying that section should say I'll vote for Congress tomorrow, although some people will say that. But interestingly enough, that section needs to be also loud. If that section is loud, I think that we can kind of see a more even better version of BJP, like what we were discussing, right? Some of the good stuff that has happened after the 240. BJP is winning, and not just winning, BJP is now taking the foreigners bill and all that stuff. So I think that for a change, this has motivated them. But this pressure bana rehna chahiye in that sense. You need to. I think that's the fallacy of what was happening before 2014. I've seen the BJP internally for a while. Like, some of us are there. We have friends, family, some people we know, and I felt that after 2021, especially in Bengal. I don't know the other states, but at least here I saw that there are a group of yes men, very big yes men, who will say that हाँ मोदी जी करेंगे तो ठीक ही है. मतलब they had no independent line of thought. They were like, if मोदी जी जो बोलेंगे ठीक है, and बस यही. मतलब they did not have, their main claim to fame was that Narendra Modi Jindabad and Jai Sri Ram sometimes. Okay, there we need people who will of course say that openly, but inside they will also have some, they will also point out where the party is going wrong. For example, when the party state leadership is often accused of colluding with TMC. How? Because a lot of the party members, they have good relations with TMC leaders. Okay, this does not hurt TMC much, it hurts the BJP much more. So if the central, देखो, West Bengal is very different from other states, as you all know. So West Bengal में जो है कि West Bengal में the central leadership needs to whip people into shape. Okay. I'm not saying that it's totally their fault either. देखो, the problem is that the people of West Bengal have to have a better sense when they vote and all that. That part is all there. But it's also true that some of the BJP karyakartas, they don't do any work. Once they are like, this is a competition for limited resources, right? So I believe that, there are some changes coming, I think. And I would like to even see more such changes. And for that 1% section that keeps getting angry with BJP is also important, as are people like you who will also say that, okay, there are good choices, but yes, it must improve. Like, we need a bit of both. We can't have only one where everyone's always outraging. We can't have the other where somebody like you is more important, who is going to point out the issues without going hyper. That kind of demographic is also needed, as are the people who go a bit hyper, because it's a balance between that will help sustain the party structure as well, party and the structure of the society better. So I'm happy you brought up caste census. Have you noticed one thing that they did with this thing, the new Rohit Vemula bill that has been proposed? The Rohit Vemula bill is very interesting. It is a step above the SC/ST bill. The SC/ST bill was where SCs and STs could file without any proof, a kind of complaint against anyone who is insulting them. The Rohit Vemula bill is actually much worse than that, because the Rohit Vemula bill empowers people who are not even close to being SC/ST, the Muslims and Christians. It empowers them also to go against general category students. What they are essentially doing is they are essentially giving the power of this SC/ST Act to non-Hindus, which is why caste census is very important. Why? Because the Congress has always tried to, Congress and Congressy parties have always tried to kind of take caste in its thing. मतलब caste है तो हमारा issue है, and not just that, let's include non-Hindus into the caste thing. मतलब Christians and Muslims will discriminate. First, they will say that Islam and Christianity are egalitarian religions. They have no caste, apparently. And then after 60 years of saying that, then they will say, Christians and Muslims also have caste. And now that they have caste, they will have the same rights as SC, ST, OBC. यही strategy है Congress का. And that is the bigger issue. That's why the caste census thing is very important for BJP to take over. And it is absolutely essential that BJP controls the narrative of caste, which is something that the Sangh and the BJP seem to always, be uncomfortable with the caste thing. Because the Sangh denies it at some level. The BJP has always tried to kind of co-opt it or use leftist narratives and stuff. ये caste का narrative ही change करना पड़ेगा. They need to be more aggressive in the caste thing and not just say that, we're trying to be more caste inclusive. That's not the solution. You have to say that, okay, जो caste का खेल लिया, अभी let's change the narrative. Let's create more. Let's have the proper caste census only for Hindus, because apparently Islam and Christianity do not have caste apparently. And then we also ensure that a caste census, once it is done, we also ensure that the opposition does not keep using caste as a stick to beat Hindus with all the time. So these kind of things that they are two-pronged. The way Meenakshi Jain has attacked the Sati thing, and now people are changing their views on Sati because it was always seen as a Hindu thing, right? That kind of a narrative must be heavily challenged. And for that, I think that now that they are putting people like Meenakshi Jain, they know that you need serious academics, people with credentials in the Rajya Sabha, in the academic sphere to kind of change the narrative, change the minds of people. They are, I think, realizing this, and that more power to them. If they realize it, good for them. But they now need to accelerate it because we have very limited time. 2029 आ रहा है, उसके बाद maybe 20 years more. Even if BJP is in power for till 2040 or 2047, even then, there is a lot of work to do. Like I said, at this point in time, the more damage is, the less damage is being done by Rahul Gandhi and all. More damage is being done by professors sitting in central universities and saying things against the Hindus and the country and the Indian nation and all that. The things that Vivek Agnihotri had shown in Kashmir Files. That kind of thing is happening every day. That also needs to be taken into account, and these people need to be challenged head on. It's very easy actually. What these people do is very simple. All you need to do is go to the central government funded institutes, see who all are doing PhD on what topic. You will get a list of people who are doing the anti-India topics, and you can see which people are guiding this thesis. You can get it. It's not a rocket science. So that's the whole point, that you have to understand that what that one said in Shaurya, Rudra Pratap Singh said, दुश्मन देश के अंदर भी है. And what I think even Mohan Bhagwat has hinted, our ex-army general Bipin Rawat ji, he had hinted, many others, even Ajit Doval ji, all these people, they have hinted numerous times that there is a 0.5 front in the country. But 0.5 front बैठा हुआ है इंस्टीट्यूट के अंदर, तुम्हारे इंस्टीट्यूट्स के अंदर. Hold so being a lion means protecting your territory no matter what. Right, coming back to the lion and this thing, the lion and fox thing. If you want to improve the image of your country, first get rid of the people inside your country from the jobs who want to destroy the image of this country internationally. क्योंकि ये लोग हमारे टैक्स पे बैठ के गाली देते हैं देश को.
Understand.
Anyway,
So let me point out two more things here. Okay. So what I call is uh, Sanjeev Sanyal syndrome. Okay.
yeah,
So Sanjay Sanyal, he's like on the board of the Economic Advisory Committee, and in his like public meetings, public podcasts and interviews, he also writes in newspapers. He tells something which like a balanced approach, where he says process-driven change rather than abrupt change. Okay, where he says
true.
like he was in the recent interviews he mentioned that okay, if you are going to sign 500 bills and change the whole process at the midnight, okay, then you will have a lot of foreseen circumstances, unforeseen effects of that abrupt change. So
Hmm.
the Modi government from 2014 onwards have chosen a policy, say process-driven change. Like it's a war of attrition. You take one, you bring it down,
Yeah.
you take one, you bring it down. Okay. Now, and that seems to be a kind of like reflected across their policy from whether appointing university professors, taking action against
Yeah.
propaganda, narrative warfare. Now, the thing is, when you are doing like when you're running a marathon, it might be it is actually good choice because it makes sure that the India has become fifth fifth to third largest economy almost. I think we
Yeah.
are fourth now. We are fourth
Well,
now.
fourth
So
will beat Germany very soon, I
yeah.
guess. Yeah.
So let's see that if the trend continues from fifth largest economy, we will become third largest economy. Okay, that
Yeah.
cannot happen if you have a very, I would say, a very hurried approach towards reforms. They
True.
are
True. True.
required, but they will happen from the back end. Okay, now because we are in a election driven country, okay, where the elections play a very important part in your economic and other policy segments. Okay,
Yeah.
example, correct, if you are going to vote for Congress, you will, the byproduct is you will get Rohit Vemula bill.
Yes. Yes.
If you're going to vote for BJP, you will get a diluted Waqf bill.
Yes.
Okay, so now that
That's a
choice,
good point.
that choice has to be made by the voters, that what they want. Do they want a Rohit Vemula bill or do they want a diluted Waqf bill? Now the thing is, I
Yeah.
am
You
I am
shall
not.
get back to the Vemula bill a bit later. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So what I am
No,
saying
no,
is that,
you finish your point. Yeah.
yeah. So what I am saying is that now this attrition warfare needs to be increased in pace, and that we are seeing.
Yeah.
So voters have told BJP that if you are not going to take care of your core vote bank, we are not going to wait forever. As you mentioned in also in your last podcast where you came as an audience, you mentioned that
Yeah.
if BJP has done a smart job by not doing everything at once. That's perfectly
Yes.
understandable, and they should
Yes.
continue to do that. But you need to assess. They made the mistake, and that also happens with being in power. If you are comfortable in life, even I am comfortable with my life, I will not do a lot of. That's how human nature works.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so that calculation was somehow missed by BJP, and that happened. That can happen. See, Congress has
Yes.
lost elections. Correct. Congress has
Absolutely.
all the support of the deep state and international organizations, money coming in, people giving. Correct. Still, Congress
Yeah.
has lost elections. So
Yes.
stop thinking that BJP is going to do everything right. BJP is
No, no, absolutely.
as fallible as Congress as a political entity. Problem is we elevate them to God status. Don't do that. Okay, just treat it as a politics and see as a voter what you will gain from this.
Yeah.
And over to you.
No, देखो, this is where the problem lies that two issues. The Congress can win the lose 500 elections. Okay. Rahul Gandhi can afford to lose 500 to 1000 elections. He will still be the Congress president because the his support system is something that BJP will never have. Okay. As you know, as you just mentioned. Now the problem here is that is why BJP is like that poor rickshawala's son who has cracked the top institute, but it will take one failure, one exam fail, and he might be out of the institute. Okay. And Rahul Gandhi is that son of the dean and all that, who will continue to stay in the institute no matter how many times he fails. हाँ, प्रॉब्लम ये है, प्रॉब्लम वो नहीं है कि I totally agree with you that yes, a ruling elite might have problem. Many ruling elites have messed up. India में तो ruling elites are like have messed up more than actually done good. Okay, that is the reality. The people of this country are spiritual, so it is lasting for this long. But the problem with the BJP is that the BJP should not think that it is the ruling elite of this country. That is where it gets it wrong. Right now, you are in the seat of power, so people will come to you. The powerful people, the other Adanis, Ambanis, everyone will come to you, and they will do Ram Ram. But once they will not wait one day when you are out of power to dump you, which is not the case with Congress. Congress continues dealing with Adani, Ambani, Tata, Birla, all these people because Congress essentially, like I said, like you said, I said that Congress has the power of the deep state. Congress के पास माँ का आशीर्वाद है, like Shehwag in that Reliance ad, right? So Italian माँ का आशीर्वाद है, so it will work. Now, where I'm telling you why Karnataka, particularly the Vemula bill, right, which is a very horrible thing that might happen. Now, think about it. BJP actually won Karnataka not so long ago. But as far as I remember, the thing was between two BJP leaders. One was, I think, a BL Santosh lobby guy, and the other was Yedurappa. I keep forgetting the guy whom they made Basavan, somebody, I don't remember. Somebody they made the CM, and
Bomanai.
Oh my, yeah. And he was a complete failure. Yedurappa को retain कर लेते तो कोई problem नहीं था, but they made Yedurappa resign and give the power to this other guy Bommai, and he messed up and they lost the next election to Congress. So that's what the problem is with BJP. BJP has to understand that it's the rickshawala's son. It cannot afford to keep losing. Okay, now it can lose. The problem is that the BJP leaders might say, we will win again in the future. But especially when it comes to Bengal, especially when it comes to the demographic change wala states like Assam. Imagine if BJP loses tomorrow, right, in Assam. Then what will happen in Assam? Already they are pushing back as much as they can. But ye to democracy se nahi hoga. That is the biggest problem. That if you try to maintain democracy, if you try to do electoral arithmetics and chemistry after you are getting power, then it's a problem. Rather stick with certain basics, create certain, ये जो lobbyबाजी है, ये थोड़ा कम करना पड़ेगा. That is the whole point, that that power must be effectively centralized. Okay. सिर्फ जो लोग जी हुजूर करेंगे, if you promote those people, it is going to come and bite you in the ass later. More importantly, it will bite the Hindu community in the ass because you are the only thing standing right now between us and Sharia law. Okay. So the stakes are much higher, which is why I'm saying that sometimes we need outrage. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes we do need outrage. कि बहुत हो गया है, now let us move on to something that is more core ideologically. And that is the other problem, that it took them 10 years to do what they should have done after 5 years. I supported Modi through the first 5 years when he was not doing any of this. When people were saying Maulana Modi, I did not say Maulana Modi because I knew that, you come to power in 2014. That's what Trump did wrong. Trump, right after coming to power, started doing, a lot of things. He should have tried to do that in the second term. तो उसको भगा दिया Trump को. So the same problem is that Modi, if he tried to change the textbook, if he did this, that, whatever stuff, if he did that before 2019, he may have lost. Okay. But he should have done, when he got 303 seats, which is a historic mandate in the recent times, then he should have done a lot of things. Bengal हार गए, ठीक है, Bengal को छोड़ो, Bengal में भी people are to blame as well. But apart from the Bengal debacle, what else? And 370 they did the one good thing, 370 Ram Mandir. But other than that, there were some core issues like Waqf bill, textbook change, UCC, a lot of other things. The pushback against Bangladeshi, the foreigner bill, all that stuff. That they are doing after 240. So that is where the problem is, that the BJP, देखो BJP अगर कर लेती, then there will always be issues in this country where there are almost 20% of the population which is ready to kind of do stuff. Okay, there will always be issues that will face the people. But if you keep the Hindus hungry for reforms for very long, and you go out of power, imagine if the 240 seats become 140 last year. Because we know that there was some meddling also from outside, as in after the Bangladesh thing and all that. So if your number of seats fell to 140 and you absolutely lost power, then imagine what we would have had right now. Okay. And then you would never come back to power. That is the fun thing, that the BJP keeps forgetting that the ones they lose, they can coming back to power is a huge uphill task again. The mandate they have is a magic. Okay, they should not. So their seriousness needs to be 20 to 100 times more than the Congress, because the Congress knows that देखो जैसे demographic change हो रहा है, and the people here are, they are just waiting for aloo piyaz wala. They will vote for us 1 or 2 days later. Congress needs to bide its time. Congress needs to be like Pakistan army. It needs to sit and just relax, and जो मतलब देश में आग लग रहा है लगने दो, जो होना है होने दो. Our voters are getting ready for the time when India will have a Hindu minority population in many states, and slowly we will start taking over. They can wait, we can't, and that is the whole problem. That is the whole problem behind the urgency. And we can debate about this a lot, and I agree with you that the reform aspects can be taken slowly. But right now, I think after Ram Mandir, Ram Mandir did not just mean that you build a temple. Ram Mandir meant that something that was deemed impossible by the whole world, you did it. But it also means that the population is now ready for more incremental changes in that direction. It means that now you can do things that the world considers bad, but you can do them. Okay. You can do it with force. And the population is like, there were no dangas after Ram Mandir, right? So that means that even the Patharwas, they are also understanding कि अभी नहीं करना है. But that momentum needs to be taken forward also. Especially in academic. देखो academic reforms करेंगे तो अभी I don't think there will be a huge problem either. Academic reforms जैसे करना है वैसे अगर करेंगे तो it will happen much faster. But it will take, again, like I'm saying, the population is also ready for the next step. Okay, it's like a girl you've been dating for 10 years. Now you have to go for the next step. You have to propose marriage. So then, uske liye the girl is ready. Now you have to do it.
Okay, so I'm going to ask 2 more questions, and then we have time, so we'll do few more things. Right? Okay, we have an hour. Okay. So first of all, when you are talking about most of the like money and influence comes from outside India, okay, for the opposition, okay, whatever name you give, it doesn't really matter. So let me give you a little bit of insight, which I have. It's my opinion as well. Okay, take it as an opinion itself. So 2014 onwards, correct? So there has been a huge outreach program in the Middle East from 2014 onwards, where we have built a very good relationship with the Middle East government. And if you see that when Trump was there and PM Modi had a very good rapport with Trump at that time.
Yes.
So and the foreign policy front, I think for last 2014 onwards, the foreign policy front, I think BJP government and central government has done exceedingly well. I think
Yes.
they will get 110 out of 100 if I am to give them a mark on foreign
Yeah.
policy, not on other
Yeah.
on foreign policy. They have done
Yeah. Yeah.
excellent job.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so that is a kind of a like long-term plan where you need to stem the flow of resources from the Western hemisphere, which are funding these 0.05 front. So
Yes. Yes.
so you can deal with the foot soldiers, but until you cut
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
that source, it doesn't have an impact that you want. Okay. Yes.
Yes.
So what I call is a kind of a tunnel within syndrome. Okay. So and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
happens to everybody. It happens to institution. It happens to individual. That
Yeah. Yeah.
you fix it on something. Okay, I need to do this thing, and by nature you ignore all the other things which you also have to do, and you you end up becoming 240. Now
Yeah.
the silver lining is that because BJP has an ideological base on which it is built, and it also has the resources of the Sangh to
Yeah.
actually like help to course correct, because
Yes.
the others will never do it because they are too drunk with power. The opposition and
Yes.
other, they are too drunk with power and ambition to do any course
Yeah.
correction, and that will
True.
never do, and that is a kind of a blessing in disguise in
Yes. Yes.
in some way. So now I have two questions for you. Uh,
Hmm.
when you are talking about changing the perspective and posture of politically dealing with political parties and leadership across India. Okay. So we have seen, correct, the kind of position taken by BJP in TN, in Tamil Nadu, in Telangana, in Maharashtra, in Haryana, and in West Bengal. Now, have you seen after 2024 the centralized approach and laid back attitude? The two are very important points: centralized approach to decision making process and laid back approach, which was created because PM Modi was too much successful in doing what he was doing, and
Yeah.
240 as a landmark has shattered that glass ceiling. And we had,
Yeah.
yeah, tell me.
I think that, for example, in Tamil Nadu, I can't tell you a lot about Tamil Nadu. To be honest, I haven't been seeing a lot recently. Now with Annamalai and all that, it keeps happening that sometimes people say that he's the great last white hope of Tamil Nadu. And then the second day, somebody says that, okay, DMK will win and stuff. So I honestly don't know about Tamil Nadu. And in some ways, Tamil Nadu is a big problem in that sense for the Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu presents with us some problems in the sense that the Tamil pride thing might create issues for national integrity, which it does, kind of. Okay. At the same time, Tamil Nadu is also, unlike West Bengal, it is actually economically developed. So, and yet it also has a low fertility rate. So all three factors taken together, where Tamil Nadu and Kerala will be, especially Tamil Nadu, not Kerala. Kerala is a different ball game entirely. What Tamil Nadu will be doing in the next, I agree with M. Shastri. So sometimes that's the thing. Like sometimes I hear one leader's name and then 2 years later I can't. So that's the thing but Tamil Nadu people need to start asking whether staying away from central level politics for so long, going against central level politics, not staying away, but going against central ideologies of politics for decades now, is it doing good for their country? Is it doing good for their state? And if not, then what are they doing wrong? They have to think about it, because otherwise, a few years later, the North Indians will say, "Bhai, we never fell for the two-child thing. Hum do hamare do." And now we have a much bigger population, and why the hell should we keep, giving you more seats than you need, right? And the delimitation will happen, and the South will lose a lot of its political power. Then they must, देखो ये तो it's always you have trade-offs. That's what Thomas Sowell says. You have to have trade-offs. So if your trade-off is that if you want to have more power in the center, you must embrace the center. You can't keep abusing the center and then say, "Ha, bhai, you have to give us power also." You can't keep doing both. So in that sense, that anyway, apart from that, the TN, what M. Shastri is saying, there's a problem with that assumption. I think Tamil Nadu, Tamil separatism is slightly different, also slightly similar also to different kinds of separatism, because there is also a religious core behind it. There is also a religious ideology that is promoting it, which may not be the same ideology in West Bengal, but is a similar kind of ideology that is behind it. So that's the other problem, that you might think that is just Tamil pride and stuff, but it's not just Tamil pride. It is what exactly the Northeast is also doing, and there you will see again another religious institution behind it. So there are different religious institutions who are promoting different kinds of separatism all over the country. But if you like, जैसे Scooby-Doo में होता था ना, if you take off the mask and there's another guy, the real guy comes out. So it's like that. If you take off the mask of separatism, you will see that there is some church or ulema behind it. Okay, and that's fine. That I think that aspect a lot of us know. But the problems with that is that the people of India must need to think about these things more. And it is also a problem, as you keep seeing, as I keep seeing on your community post, that people keep doing TikTok and Insta and all that stuff and discussing the lives of serial actors and movie actors and stuff, whereas their economy is in the shitter. Okay, there is no popular understanding of what is ailing the country, what are the problems of the country, why we are unable to use the human resource of 140 crore people in a more productive direction, that kind of thing. So let's say, so anyway, if given all that, I would still say that the center has done a lot of course correction. I think that by trying to understand Tamil Nadu politics better, I think the center is doing a lot of good things in these kind of states where it is not in power. Kerala, I have no idea what they're doing. West Bengal, I like the direction they are taking right now. With regards to, let's say, the Northeast, I don't have much of an idea. Northeast, actually, I guess Himonto and all of them are there, and there are other states, and I think the center there's a lot of close eye on the Northeast. So I think the Northeast wala thing will also be more under control. What the only threat, the big threats I see, actual threats happening properly, is West Bengal and a few other states in the south, which have a dangerously low TFR and growing distance with the center, along with a religious ideology that is being Punjab, Punjab, I forgot. So Punjab is there also. But these kind of, if you look at it's like the border areas of the Bharat that we have right now. So those are again a problem, and I think West Bengal में जो चल रहा है ठीक है, I agree. But again, the problem here is that, for example, yesterday I was watching Ajit Bharti, and he pointed out, he said, Itihaskar ko he made Titihaskar. Okay. So there are people who are promoting history, who are teaching history in central institutes, who are teaching absolutely rubbish in the name of history, and they are all Mughal fangirls and fanboys and stuff. तो ऐसे टाइप के लोग एकेडेमिया में जो लेफ्टिस्ट लॉबी है, these people are very savvy now. Okay, they are very good with social media right now, and they are I'm seeing that in all these social sciences and all, they are promoting new faces. मतलब रोमिला था पर इरफान अभी तो बूढ़े हो गए. How much can you milk that same cow? So the left is trying its level best to create a new cohort of people who will again give you misinformation about caste and religion and Indian history and Indian culture and ये सब के बारे में. हाँ. Or these people are not even great scholars. That's what makes me angry. These people are not even good scholars. Like some of the guys in the comment section, they can take them on easily and destroy their credentials. But this is the problem, that they have a PhD from somewhere, sometimes foreign university, and the people take them seriously. They have to, the BJP has to up its also. So what happens is the BJP thought that social media will counter mass media and academia. Okay. Now these people realize that academia se nikal ke, we have to also take over social media. Okay, they have realized it, which is why you will see when Neerajan was discussing that that guy Ravikant Kisana's book, Meet the Savarnas, which is a very basic kind of popular book. Okay, उसमें मतलब basically उसने जो मतलब essay writing competition किया उसमें वो छाप दिया. But if you think about it, that kind of book is now being slowly promoted. मतलब popular writing and popular platforms, उसमें जो है left is doing what it's doing. The right, मतलब the Indic wing had a lot of good investment in social media, and our social media game has improved, no doubt. After 2024, I can see that the pamphlet and a lot of other kind of small outlets are coming out. But this is where they need to build more credentialed academics. Like, sirf, dekho, a historian, you take a historian from the left who has a PhD from abroad, and then you put that person in, let's say, on a TikTok, okay? Uska jo effect hoga, you need to counter that with another person with a PhD on TikTok. मतलब ये करना पड़ेगा. You can't have you have to fight fire with a bigger fire, essentially. So that,
Okay.
I think that is the next step.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take one more point and then we'll go for audience questions. Okay. I think
Yeah.
today we have a very good question section here, and I also add few of mine as well. So this the last point. This policy of co-opting, which RSS and BJP does. Okay, it's a kind of a duplication game they play of co-opting. We can see in Kashmir they had co-opted and had a government with what's the lady's name? I'm forgetting. Okay,
Mehbooba Mufti.
PDP party, Mehbooba Mufti. So PDP, they had a coalition with PDP. Okay, now and
Yeah.
that time there was a tornado of criticism for BJP doing that. I think Ajit Bharti was the only person whom I heard who at that time even defended that part. Ajit Bharti. Other people were like the way sorry for people who are listening to this. Hindus are politically illiterate. Okay, accept that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Read more books to understand politics. Okay. And we do the same thing with when we go to vote. Okay.
Yes.
We like one big plate of biryani and vote for whatever you want. Okay. If you are not going to change that habit, forget about what you are asking BJP to do. It will never happen. So this this strategy of co-opting, okay, has it backfired or has it run beyond expiry? They need to evolve that policy and the framework of co-opting.
I think it hasn't been done enough in academia. जहाँ पे करना चाहिए था. I'm not talking about politics. Academics are basically there. They want some power positions, थोड़ा सा पैसा. The academics cost much less than politicians, by the way. एक politician को खरीदने, एक MLA को खरीदने को तुमको 10-20 करोड़ देना पड़ेंगे. Academic को खरीदने में 1 करोड़ भी नहीं लगेगा. Okay. So academics में co-option should be done way more. Way more. Okay. And you don't even need to work very hard for that. There are people who are out there in the left easily, जो left भी नहीं है, मतलब थोड़ा सा center के पास है, you can easily buy them off. You have enough taxpayers' money to buy them off also. You don't even need to spend your party resources. That is the problem. I think academics को co-opt करना चाहिए था, politicians को नहीं. Politicians bring along with them a different kind of baggage. They have their constituencies, they have their own kind of, the corruption cases, issues that ultimately latch on to you. Like if you there's a difference between buying a Dilip Mandal versus buying a kind of corrupt guy from Samajwadi Party. Okay, Dilip Mandal को 2 दिन गाली देंगे, but ठीक है, Dilip Mandal did not steal any money. He is basically a guy who's whom they got for changing the narrative. But उसका cost देखो, cost versus benefit देखो, और उसमें देखो कि when you buy a corrupt MP or MLA from Samajwadi Party or Namajwadi Party or BSP or something, and then you see that those guys have done some horrible things in their past, and then these past is dug up, and then your party goes into panic mode. So rather than actually co-opting politicians, they should have co-opted academics. So I am all for co-option now, but not for politicians. Like I said, that actually backfired in Bengal. Except Shubhendu Adhikari and Sajal Ghosh, no good faces came out from TMC before 2021. And maybe one or two here and there. But overall, I think Shubhendu Adhikari and Sajal Ghosh were the two best guys to come out of TMC. और वो अभी भी है. That is the whole point. This aspect of buying politicians and stuff, that works only till a certain level, because in Bengal it totally backfired. देखो हिंदू इलाके में ही हार गई बीजेपी. Why? Because the leaders they were abusing 2 days ago, then they co-opted them, then they become your leader again. So then the Hindus, like you said, Hindus are illiterate. They did not think that, okay, if I vote for BJP in 2021, I might have a better life in 2025. No. They did not think that. They thought that, oh, ये तो हरामी था, इसको नहीं वोट देंगे. बस नहीं वोट दिया, तो now what you have is you have 5 more years of TMC. So co-opting politicians is a bigger risk. If somebody genuinely changes their attitude, their ideas, and they like Himanto, Shubhendu, when they become assets sometimes, okay, that is different. But that is like rare, once in a blue moon type situation. But overall, it seems that the buying the politician thing does not work. But buying academics will work. I can guarantee that. Because most people that they like, not so open like Dilip Mandal and all, but there are people who are more, chupchap, who are more powerful in different institutes. They can be given perks and freebies and stuff. And that kind of thing. And they can be co-opted, and narrative वहां से भी बदलना पड़ेगा. सिर्फ you can put Meenakshi Jain in Rajya Sabha, but class में कौन पढ़ेगा? Meenakshi Jain won't go to every classroom and teach, right? You have to do that also. And वो सिर्फ वो बैठा देने से नहीं होगा कि हाँ इसको हम पहचानते हैं, nice person, let's put him in Delhi University. That also won't work. You need, this is why co-opting academics is important, because some people will have better better degrees, they have a better personality, they have a better that thing, the appeal to the students and stuff. उनको अगर अपने तरफ ले आओ तो थोड़ा सा चेंज होगा, and once you have that change, then you can bring more change in the future.
Okay, we are going to now start our audience question. So we have around 30 minutes, so you can ask questions, but it is better if you can put super chat, then I can take more questions, and put hash on the questions. We'll take it. Now we'll start with this question. This is a very interesting question, and I want your opinion on this. Also, we need to comfortable with failure at certain thresholds. I will add a little bit to this. We were supposed to have a podcast on social capital. We will probably have it in some time. Maybe next week we will try to have it. So this like the fear of failure, which Hindus a lot of have. Okay, I don't know other people also have it, but the Hindu as a community, okay, as a race group, we have a phobia with failure. Okay, and that is across the line. Okay, a businessman, you are saying, correct? You are saying that now people in Gujarat whose father is a businessman, he is going to who is doing a job. He says, I don't like doing business because it might fail.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
this fear of failure within the Hindu psyche, okay, is it something which can be corrected by building the social capital that we have lost for over 1,000 years?
Mm, this is a tough question. I think fear of failure
Hmm.
has also produced some good stuff. Like nothing is bad or good in itself, right? Like, dekho, sometimes fear of failure also means that you work extra hard. Some people, for some people it means you do shady deals and win. So it can mean two things. If this is a collective attitude, then like I said, it has its utilities and it has its problems. But I think that fear of failure sometimes, now I am a guy who is uh, who who believes that the paranoid survive, that kind of guy. So I also believe that sometimes fear of failure itself, fear in general, is a good motivation to work harder. This is my personal view. Now, if I come to your question that social capital and social networks वगैरह ये सब बनाने से अगर होता है, या you kind of build up the image of the community, will that work? It may not, I believe, because why I'm telling you this is that uh, what it does is sometimes you might think that it projects a sense of you know uh, क्या बोलूं मैं, it projects a sense of infallibility, it projects a sense of confidence uh, that people might want to live up to. It might also be that it projects a fake sense of confidence where you you may not have enough. Now uh, that's why this is more of a big general question that I don't really have an answer to. But personally, I feel that sometimes fear is important. In fact, my whole pitch is that make people scared of everything, then they'll they'll magically they'll realize that that there's a war out there and we need to think about it as a war. Matlab, people are all day busy on TikTok and they are not worried about the future. That's why this is happening, what is happening also. So I have a slightly different view from that
Okay,
view.
let me part two of the question. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll keep this to give more context. So what I was thinking at the individual level, me having being fearful that what will happen tomorrow will make sure that I will learn enough skills, I will save enough, I will have enough networks, I will build relationships so that I can be take help when required at the individual level.
yes,
When you are
yes.
talking at the societal level, where every
Mhm.
individual, almost every individual in the Hindu society has a traumatic relationship with failure at the societal level,
Yes.
and its impact and that impact is this, that today Hindus across the divide from UP, Bihar to even Gujarat and everywhere, they want a
Yeah.
peon jobs in government. A peon
True,
job in
true.
government, although they have a PhD, whatever reason doesn't really
Mm.
matter. They have a PhD. Okay, they have
Yes.
a
Yes.
master's degree. Fear,
Yes.
fear, fear of failure at the societal level has cost us a Microsoft, a Google, and an Amazon, because we did not, as
Mm.
a society, we did not had the courage to take that step. So
Mm. Mm.
that's my perspective. Fear of
Mm.
failure at the individual level is good, but when you translate that fear at the societal level, you will become, you will not become America, you will become India, where people are queuing up,
Mm.
paying bribes to take a teacher's job, and they are teaching 5-year-olds, and that is their
Ah,
biggest achievement in life. Not
yeah.
there, the
Yeah.
families achievement in life, or even the or even the villages achievement, that somebody from
Mm.
our village has become a teacher.
Yes.
That is a cost, that a society, a community cannot afford. That's my perspective.
Acha, do you not think that it is more to do with I can't disagree with you on this entirely. I have to agree with what you're saying. But also, do you not think that it's more of a no, actually I have to agree with you. I can't disagree with you on this. I have to agree with you. I can't counter it really. I mean, you're right. You are right. Because I was going to say that if you, let's say, make everything free market, if you destroy the government intervention and everything, but yeah, people will then vote for parties who will give free pyaz alu. मतलब they will say ओल्ड पेंशन स्कीम लाएंगे, हाँ, और ये सब करेंगे, एकदम घटिया घटिया चीज करेंगे, सोशलिज्म करेंगे. People will vote for those only. So yes, you are right. I think that in America you can actually say that no, I will cut Medicaid, I will cut government spending and still come back into power. But in India, if you say that, you get screwed. So no, I agree with you. I agree with you. And West Bengal is the biggest example of that. कि जहाँ पे success to failure is because of kind of that fear of failure. I agree with you.
Yeah, okay. We'll take few more questions and I'll add mine as well. Let's go one by one. There are a lot of things. Okay. This is related to this question itself. Do Indians or Bharatiyas have the silver bullet syndrome?
Yeah, unfortunately we do. And ये टोटका इसलिए we have so many babas whom we go to for Vashikaran and all that. That again, fear is coming in. The question of fear.
Okay. So
There's
now this is something interesting data has given. How do you think, and we know, correct, a lot of religious institutions and other NGOs have pumped in billions of dollars into southern states, specifically in
Yeah,
Tamil Nadu and undivided Andhra and now to Telangana. How does you propose can be changed, or what BJP needs to do?
well, honestly speaking, the church is so powerful. It is very difficult for BJP or central government to effectively, completely counter them. The church has uh, so many resources at its disposal internationally that it can continue this war of attrition for 2 decades, 3 decades, and still, BJP can't do anything much. What it can do, of course, is that it can free the temples. That's the only thing that comes to my mind whenever the church versus the conversion thing or education, anything that comes up. Honestly speaking, freeing the temples छोड़ के मेरे दिमाग में कुछ होता नहीं है, because it's like both your arms are tied in a boxing match, and you've been told that your opponent has both arms ready, and with he's been building his biceps and triceps, and he's going to punch you on your nose, and all you have to defend is you can run around the ring. That's what we are having in our Hindu society right now. We have crores of rupees in the temples which were originally given to maintain the education system of Hindus, the healthcare, education, and the businesses and Hindu entrepreneurship and all that. But now, because our hands are tied and the temple money is going to the government for funding madrasas, we are unable to take care of our own people because of this, I believe.
Okay, I'm going to add one more point to this. Do
Yeah,
you think what you had mentioned, correct, that
yeah,
we as Hindus are unable to free our temples? Why do you
yeah.
think why we are powerless?
Matlab, there is no popular movement for this either. There is
No,
no, there is no.
no,
Why
I
is
understand.
this?
I want to, as you are as you have a social sciences background, you study social behavior as a part of
Yeah,
your like job.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
what has changed? What has changed, or what changes needs to happen at the social level? See, as Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee has said, "Sarkare आएंगी जाएंगी." Okay, government
Ha
will
ha.
come and go. Okay, people who elect the government are wise enough; they will choose the right options, and that has to
Yeah.
happen at the social level, at the collective level. What went wrong, or what can be done to actually create again the social capital which will reinvigorate the Hindu society so that they can demand for it? And what went wrong exactly? Why we can't do this?
Wrong तो बहुत कुछ हुआ. Wrong is basically we देखो, a lot of people blame Brahmins and elitism. I think that the problem is that that wasn't enough. Like if you look at it, which parts of Bengal converted into Islam? If you look at undivided Bengal, the parts where the Hindu elites were not present, those are the parts that converted faster. So the same if you take Tamil Nadu and all these other states, jahan pe anti-Brahmin movement was promoted much more. There going from this going away from the Hindu way of life happened much faster, right? So the problem happens at that level. I think that if we look at it that way, if we look at it from that perspective, we will see that. Hi, welcome, M Shastri. I'll just finish this sentence and then you can join in, I guess. The point being here that if we take that into account, we actually did not promote enough of our elites in the regions that needed them. For example, in the Northeast, in Tamil Nadu, in West Bengal, in Kerala, the Hindu elites, the religious elites and other kinds of elites who are openly Hindu, political elites who are Hindu, religious elites who are Hindu, these kind of people were not promoted in these areas. I think we need to promote more elites who are religious, like somebody like Bageshwar Baba. Imagine 20 Bageshwar Babas in Tamil Nadu. I'm pretty sure there are religious leaders in these areas, but the temples are not in our hands, and the BJP will not openly fund these people. So there must be some kind of support system provided to them for them to kind of become the local level political and religious elites. And I think that is the one way that we can stop this thing in the near future. And again, going back to the temple freedom thing, again, temples are freed, then Hindus also have the financial and the social power to again bring back our culture. But unless we can do it, then exactly. So Sadhguru is there, but imagine we need more Sadhgurus. Okay, like we need more Sri Ravi Shankar, Sadhguru, Sai Baba, whoever we have. Like these people are Hindus unapologetically, right? So if you have 10 of these guys, then you are able to take over the narrative aspect also, and the power aspect in the local levels. Yeah.
M Shastri, you can speak whatever we are saying, social capital and other things.
Yeah, so Tamil Nadu is kind of interesting, right? So effectively, since the 70s, Tamil Nadu has been left to its own devices. When Indira Gandhi came to power and Kamraj passed away, she essentially abandoned Tamil Nadu to its own devices. There's been no national party in Tamil Nadu since then. Since then, what's been happening is that it's essentially been a bipolar contest, right? The two parties people have been basically voting for one or the other party, right? And initially, at least until the early to mid 2000s, like Tamil Nadu was not that different from say Bihar or UP, right? So the only difference was that Tamil Nadu had institutions in place since the British time, and Bihar and UP never did have any institutions. So you had universities and all that already in place in Tamil Nadu. That's the only basic difference, right? You'd have thuggery, you'd have low-level violence, you'd have all the features that you'd get from Jungle Raj that would be used to maintain some level of political power. It wasn't until like the mid 2000s when we started having a boom, right? And the state started having money in its pockets that you had welfare politics set in, and a lot of Tamil parties leveraged that really well, extremely well. Like they're pretty effective at doling out welfare. Jayalalitha started it She started in a small scale in the early 2000s, but it didn't catch up until the mid 2000s. So you need to understand that is that people in Tamil Nadu, they have a particular political habit. They have really strong political bonds and connections to get things done for themselves, right? And the Dravidian parties actually leverage this quite effectively to win political power. Then they're really not that powerful, to be honest, right? Like a DMK, even at its peak, does not get more than 20 to 23% of the vote. But उन लोग इतना कटवा कर they do so much vote cutting. They move people around. They know how to leverage those connections that they build through doling out welfare. That they are a very effective party. So for BJP, if it really wants to crack into Tamil Nadu politics, it really needs to get seats, right? It needs to get its foot through the door. It needs to rebuild that connection, that welfare connection, and it really needs to lean into this theory of public service, right? Public good. So I think academic man might know about this, but I think a lot of like Indian political scientists who study Indian politics, they came up with this theory. I think it was Bhargava, I believe, in his book Indian Politics, called as the theory of public good. Right? You can be the most horrible person on the planet, but as long as you're able to provide some welfare or help some person in their need, you will always win people's loyalty. So let me give you a personal example, right? Um, I have cousins in Tamil Nadu. My uncle, he had a medical issue, right? Rather, in his family, someone had a medical issue. I think I don't remember if it was him or if his wife. Uh, so he reached out to his local DMK politician. He absolutely hates DMK, by the way. So he reached out to his local DMK politician through friends, and managed to get a hospital. His wife, or I believe it was his wife admitted in a hospital in due time and save her life. So I think these are the things that keeps Dravidian parties in power, and the BJP really needs to effectively build a parallel system to it. ADMK has that. That system's collapsing rather quickly. DMK has actually strengthened their delivery system. That's the battle the BJP is fighting. Now, with regards to temple freedoms, uh, I have a slightly different take, right? Temple freedoms is a very local issue. You're not going to convince a Hindu in the south to fight for temple freedoms in the north. They're completely two different issues. But you can get a Hindu to fight for temple freedoms in his own community. But that need needs to rise in his own community, right? अब क्या है कि with Tamil Nadu is also another special case. Maintaining temples in Tamil Nadu is a very expensive affair, right? You're going to have maybe 2 or 3 elephants, a goshala. Then you have these very ancient structures that needs to be constantly maintained, and you have to have visitor management. I mean, they're all very crowded places, right? And like when the British came and they started looting every society, no community had any money to maintain these structures, right? Even if you, let's say, privatize all the temples in Tamil Nadu, they will all go into losses because none of the community does not have resources to maintain them, at least to the level that they needs to, right? And the institutions themselves are like they themselves depend on doles. So this is one thing that I think folks who advocate for temple freedom, they really need to appreciate these things. It's not that cheap to maintain a temple. It's not that cheap to run a temple, right? If you have, say, two elephants in the Tamil Nadu temples, they need elephants, right? उनका बनाई वैसा है, right? हर सैटरडे को हर दिन एक रथ यात्रा रहता है, एंड सैटरडेज को एक स्पेशल रथ यात्रा रहता है. उसके लिए तुझे you need elephants, and just two elephants would cost you about 50 kgs of hay every day. 50 kgs of hay, right? And it's not small amount. So freedom say you need to be much more careful and much more cognizant about what temple freedoms is all about and what it means to those individual temples. Unless you have solutions for those individual temples, you're not going to get freedoms. And you also need to define freedoms, right? In TN, in Tamil Nadu, you might not need freedoms. You actually need autonomy. दोनों में बहुत फर्क है. And the third thing is, like, the church is not that powerful in Tamil Nadu. It's just that every other Hindu institution is weaker. So I think the basis of comparison should be readjusted and reassessed a little bit.
No, I really appreciate the the lesson. I agree with you on some counts there. Then if we have to strengthen our, let's say, a Ramakrishna mission or a Sadguru or a Sri Sri Ravi Shankar or a any of these Bageshwar Baba, whatever, whoever, then the government must stop fining Hindus for building their own institutes. Na? Matlab, if a minority builds his institute, he is given tax exemption. तो एटलीस्ट हिंदूज को टैक्स एग्जम्पशन दे दो वो वाला, कि अगर हिंदू भी रिलीजियस इंस्टीट्यूशन बना दे, रामकृष्ण मिशन टाइप का स्कूल बना दे, then you get tax exemption the same as minorities. Then at least there will be a level playing field. मतलब basically the government has been penalizing us for being Hindus for the last, I don't know, 100 years or so.
I think the problem with that is the consequent argument can also be that, hey, we also maintain your temple. So it's not an easy thing as to say that, hey, Hindus ko bhi tax exempt kar do karke. Because there's a lot of,
if you maintain our temples, you do this. This is not something that is up for question. My point is this, that if Muslims and Christians can get disproportionate rights to their population because of their so-called unity based on religion, then if Hindus are united and ask for some concessions from government, they can. That's the whole point. Like Indian model of bargaining is that only. It is communitarian and based on kind of your unity at the community level, right? That is why castes are more important than Hindus per se.
No, I don't disagree. I mean, I don't disagree. But we
have a lot of common ground here. I don't think that.
Yeah.
I think our aims are similar, so we will have agreements and certain disagreements. But overall, I think the biggest point here being that both of our arms are again tied at the back, right?
Yes. So the approach.
One arm.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is the approach to that can't just be that center has to do things, right? You have to win the state as well. So we want temple freedoms. Let's not get about it, right? But to attain that, you can't just simply have a diktat from Delhi saying Madurai should be liberated and expect Madurai will just react nicely about it. No, it doesn't work that way, right?
No, so I am with you on that. You have to understand. I get your point. I agree with you. My point is, इसके बाद क्या करें? मतलब next what can we ask for or do? What we can ask for is give us more concessions as Hindus. Like you have given everyone else concession. हमको भी थोड़ा concession दे दो. मतलब now that we are voting for you in a united way, because that's the deal. That's the deal between the Indian political parties and any group. Muslims vote for whichever party gives them the most religious concessions. So we also have to start arguing that way. कि हम लोग vote करेंगे, लेकिन you have to give us this. It may be unfair. On paper, it may be unfair, but it has to be given because we are voting for you.
Let me throw a little bit of a nugget at you, because I think this. So the thing is, the best way to approach this is through states. State government का तो gardan pakdega na, center will fold rather quickly.
I agree. लेकिन स्टेट में एक ही प्रॉब्लम मैं देख पा रहा हूँ कि स्टेट लेवल्स पे firstly, if you have states like West Bengal, Bihar, and these other kind of places where number one, non-Hindu factions are much more united in voting against the Hindu faction, then capturing 25 states is very difficult. Like you can capture 20 states, maybe you have your support base in Madhya Pradesh, Delhi, Maharashtra, all the big ones, Rajasthan, UP, and all these places. Himachal le lo. Or south mein maybe you can even go up till Karnataka. But when it comes to Bengal, which is a sizable state, Tamil Nadu, another sizable state, even states like Bihar, which are again very badly fragmented, they're capturing the Hindu unity against the state, as in demanding more stuff from the state as a Hindu. That becomes extremely difficult unless it is a properly planned, centralized thing from the top. We can't expect it to be more of an organic movement. It has to be promoted heavily from the BJP or Sangh at every level. Then it maybe it can be possible. But it is a good way. I agree with you. It is a good way forward, I guess.
Yes and kind of no. I think the Sangh can do some work, sure, but I think as a community we also need to complement them, right? So what I'm trying to say is we lack a certain kind of tenacity. So just let's take both the problematic states, quote unquote problematic states you highlight, right? Tamil Nadu and West Bengal. It's not like the Hindu vote bank can't get things done in those states, right? If the Hindu vote bank wasn't powerful or wasn't something that state politicians do not fear over there, then in West Bengal you wouldn't have Dhiga Jagannath, right? Mamata Banerjee wouldn't go out of her way to basically promote Dhiga Jagannath, right? In the same way, Stalin, the dudes are supposed to be avowed atheists. He's actually Christian, but वो भी आजकल मुर्गन के पीछे जा रहा है, कार्तिकेय के पीछे जा रहा है. Right? They are trying to promote Murugan and Kartikeya as only Tamil gods, and they're trying to do this with Shiva as well. It's kind of funny, but correct. I mean, this shows that there is they're obviously trying to get ahead of the curve, right? So where can the Sangh be useful here? The Sangh can actually push it further, right? Maybe have the BJP push the agenda further. Maybe push Mamata Banerjee further. Maybe in the south, Sadhguru can do a little bit further. There's definitely a role for the Sangh. But on the other hand, the community also needs the tenacity to say, हाँ, अब इसको यहाँ पर पकड़ा, अब इसको यहाँ से खींचना है, right? We got a hold of an inch. Now it's time to pull a feet. So that is much more important than Sangh has to do things, BJP has to do things, because we have to somehow complement their actions as well. That's quite important.
No, I wholeheartedly agree with you. The point is, I lose hope when I see Hindus voting for 1,000 rupees in West Bengal. That is when matlab, by the time maybe I see some action. Again, not to say that things haven't changed. Maybe 5 years ago, if you check social media accounts in West Bengal, YouTube comment sections, Facebook comment sections, and all that stuff, if you checked it, and now if you check it, and it's very easy, you can just translate comments now. If you check it, you'll go crazy. Like West Bengal, people are actually supportive of Hindutva, okay, which is huge. But the point is that our time is declining very fast, and what we are trying to promote as a community, a kind of at this point, global community of disenfranchised people at this point. It's very difficult to achieve without you see, we've delegated our leadership to political parties, right? That is our biggest flaw. And because we've done that, our ancestors also did that kind of. They were also partly responsible for this. Because of that, because of this problematic attitude, we are now having to build this basic leadership thing from the ground up. Okay, we have to now completely reimagine how to lead our own people. So ये थोड़ा difficult, but it's time consuming.
I think that's a very defeatist way of looking at it. The thing is that you don't need to build leadership here. You just need to provide adequate support to it. The thing is, I've seen this with my own eyes in the 90s in Maharashtra. Maharashtra, I mean, you definitely had Bala Sahib Thackeray, but Thackeray could only control maybe Dadar and Worli and below that. But you still needed people in the hinterland. You still needed people in the suburbs. That kind of leadership, it did not just come up because the community said we need to build leadership. Ek banda aaya, that guy was charismatic. He brought some people along. Others brought other people along and said, "Ye dekh, ye tere liye karke dikhayega." Right? That I
agree with you. I agree with you there. But I think
let me just finish. Let me just finish. I think that level of tenacity needs to be resurrected. Right?
I get that. I get that. I get that. I think the example you provided is very good, but the problem here being that जो महाराष्ट्र में हो सकता था और हो सकता है, Maharashtra is either the financial capital of India, essentially. Mumbai is the financial capital. Maharashtra is doing quite well as well.
But in the 80s and 90s, it was completely devastated. Right? I mean,
no, but it was horrible like West Bengal, right? Like that's what I'm trying to say. Like in West Bengal.
No, I mean, I don't think you understand this. You only look at Mumbai as a financial capital, but Mumbai, before it was a financial capital, it was also a textile capital. You have like 1 mill in Mumbai used to employ 55,000 people directly. उनको pensions भी देते थे, घर भी देते थे, उनका education सब देखभाल करते थे. When the mills collapsed in the late 80s and 90s, that without RBI in Mumbai, Mumbai would have turned out to become a more basket case than Kolkata.
Yeah.
So I think you shouldn't dismiss that.
I think like the Baba Sahib Thackeray movement helped it kind of like the Marathi Manus thing helped it at that time. I don't know.
I mean, to some extent he did, right? He stemmed the bleeding. Because what was happening was that while you had folks like Datta Samant, complete socialist communist, who essentially like closed mills down effectively. Business in India. Bala Sahib,
that's what I'm saying.
Bala Sahib was the only one fighting against it. He failed. He failed, but he was the only one fighting against it. But
that's the point. Like you had a guy like I'm not I won't know Bala Sahib's history that intricately, but as far as I understood, because he took on the commies, head on kind of. There was a huge resistance, but ये Bengal में नहीं हुआ. मतलब and same in Tamil Nadu, as you just mentioned a few minutes back, that Tamil Nadu has this whole delivery system, which is a very, what you described is essentially West Bengal without the political violence, a slightly more efficient version of West Bengal.
Yeah, so I mean the thing, it wasn't like
and Bengali leadership. You will see that, like.
Yeah, but I'm saying Tamil Nadu and West Bengal was not indistinguished. Well, you couldn't distinguish between the two in the 90s or 2000s, right? I mean, I'm not trying to. Your cynicism is valid, but I'm also trying to say that this is not a permanent situation. ये कभी भी है ना ऐसा minus violence की तरह हो सकता है, and you have to be ready for that next stage as well. But where were we before I interrupted you? I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Let's
Yeah,
today. I mean, this is a fantastic topic, but let's get back to it. I think
so we'll we will. So last question, I will request you to answer the same from Shastri. RSS is too big a player to be destroyed, but the issue is that can we afford to wait until Sangh rebuilds another party? Your last comments and answer to this, and then we will wind up the show.
Okay, I agree. We can't afford the time till the Sangh may be taking on another pet project of politics. And that is where, the Tapan Ghosh politics, the political model you actually mentioned 2 minutes ago in Maharashtra, where the more, I'm talking to M. Shastri here, where kind of, local leaders were trying to do their stuff. That kind of thing is very important. But the problem I see it happening where is that in certain states, it is very, like the people are so over dependent on the government that it is very difficult for new organic leaders to come up. Like, I'll tell you the very basic difference. In panchayats of Madhya Pradesh, for example, you have Naya Neta. Like in local villages, the guys who win the panchayat, they are not necessarily affiliated to BJP or Congress always. Okay, sometimes they might be, but majority of the times they are not. In Bengal, at every like street, whoever is the leader has to be affiliated to a party, which basically means that your entire existence, your every step of your life, you are linked to a political party. Even if it's the opposition party, it is a political party. Okay. And that is where the limitation is happening. And in that sense, I'll also connect it to what Ninad is asking about. Why is BJP not embracing its inner lion? यही मैं बोलना चाहता था कि basically if that's why we keep falling back on the BJP. Like today, I can let's say start leading a public rally in West Bengal, okay, and I can demand. We tried that with the Abhaya case and this and that, many things. Every time anyone creates a new outfit or new system of politics in West Bengal, the police reaches home and it is over. Police या कोई अधिकारी पहुंच जाएगा, and there are no protections. You are basically like you're screwed. Like the top YouTubers in this state have been arrested more than the top criminals of this state. Okay, the class of leader. The only reason that we are heavily dependent on BJP or Sangh is because in West Bengal there are no basic freedoms. In Maharashtra, maybe I can go to a guy and voice my opinion against the state. Okay. Or country also. So my country as in the central government. But if I go in West Bengal and go outside my house and start talking against the government, I'll be arrested the next morning. Okay. And if I do it too much, then nobody will find me after a week. So since our basic rights are not there in West Bengal, and maybe I think similar stuff happen on the down low in Tamil Nadu. Maybe a much smaller version, but maybe sometimes it might happen that if you are hounded, like this is what the left does. The left hounds your life. They will destroy your reputation, your job, your family. People also have families to get back to, and they are scared. And this is where we overly depend on the BJP and the Sangh, and I think that's the whole problem as well, that the BJP as a political party in the center cannot do a lot of things suddenly, which we are expecting it to do. But again, we don't have a choice. So it's very much like a rock and a hard place. Like we're either gonna get screwed by the state or we're gonna get screwed by the center. Like, take your choice. So it's kind of like that. Anyway,
can I add one more thing to this?
Yeah. And then we can,
Yeah, I think it's worth having a sort of like a Shiv Sena style model in the country, right? The reason why I like the fact that T. Raja in Telangana was booted out is because there is a need for a more harder edged Hindutva party on whom we can leverage, put some support should the situation arise that where we need a little bit more harder edge, right? You can't
Yeah,
have the BJP do that. I think it's worth having two parties where one is the more gentler party and the other one is a little, let's
yeah,
call it
yeah, yeah.
less gentle, right? In
Yes,
Maharashtra,
yes.
the Sena always took up the stick, whereas the BJP always had the carrots.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I agree. I agree. Um, Again, that's very difficult. I don't see that happening in West Bengal. Yes, other states, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, all that go crazy. But in West Bengal, like I said, every aspect of our lives is like you're living in a panopticon. You're living in a like 1984 type dystopian future. Okay. So let's see. Let's hope. I am hopeful for the future. I'll just take this question. We can then end. Question for the panel. Assuming we now get a self-destructive government, what is self-destructive government? Okay. What is your optimistic and pessimistic timeline revival time? देखो पेसिमिस्टिक टाइमलाइन तो बहुत है 30 साल होगा बट ऑप्टिमिस्टिक टाइमलाइन इज विद इन 10 years आई थिंक we can get West Bengal. देखो West Bengal is not completely lacking. Okay, West Bengal को ठीक करने में you need at least 10 years though. And the damage that they have done, especially the education system, उसको reverse करने में to build skilled labor who can be more आत्मनिर्भर and stuff, that will take 10 years. I don't see anything less than that working. At least
Okay.
10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. What happened to my mouse now?
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you. Thank you to Academic Man. Thank you to Munshi Shastri for joining this debate. It was really interesting. We had a lot of good questions, good discussions. I think we want to carry forward this in our next live stream. We'll have an audience reaction session itself. So I would request people who are watching this, do consider taking the membership of the channel so that we can host much better live streams and much better audience reaction sessions with the members as well. And I would request people also to I'll show this book to people as well. So this is a book written by somebody who is not a born Hindu. Okay, it is Sam Bedrick, a Hindu guide to advocacy and activism. So do go ahead and buy this book and read, because ideally this book should be written by a Hindu from India, but unfortunately it has happened. So do consider buying this book, and thank you again to Academic Man for coming. And we will have a discussion on social capital and how to solve problems in our next live stream.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes. Thank you.
Yeah,
Jai
yeah.
Shri Ram,
I
Vande Mataram.
Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.
Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram.